And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We have a great show for you today. As always, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Takes by Fans and be a part of the conversation. And come watch live daily, noon Eastern at twitch.tv/Takes by Fans, or go to our official website, takesbyfans.com. Go to the watch tab, and whenever we are live on the site. Look at us go, y'all. We are live on the site. It is literally that easy. Multiple ways to watch. So however you decide to watch, just make sure you're watching. That's the most important part to get all your daily sports content. All right, today is Friday, so our official picks are in. Our 99% guarantees are locked in, and our locks are going to be locked in today on the show. We'll also go through the matchups and kind of see which teams have the most to gain this week by winning in our power rankings. So we'll go kind of through that and see which teams can really make a splash and really can kind of get noticed this week. So we'll go through that and our picks today on the show. But first, before we get into anything, a couple of news stories that we have to talk about. The LeVeon Bell sweepstakes, folks, has come to a close yesterday. We knew he was going to be, signing very quickly. We knew it was going to kind of get done. And yesterday it was either between the Chiefs, Dolphins, and Bills, and we really thought he was going to go to Buffalo. We thought the Chiefs, they cut two running backs in the offseason, LaShawn McCoy, and to kind of free up a little bit of cap room, and then they went and drafted a running back number one overall. Or in the first round. Their first round pick they used on a running back. And then Miami, we've got, three decent running backs. We just picked up two running backs in the offseason, so I really didn't think that we would pursue one. Whereas Bills, they're only kind of rocking with Devin Singletary. He's good, but we thought Bills would go and make that kind of jump, get that key piece. I mean, they went out and they got a key wide receiver, so, we thought they would go and get a big ticket running back, that became available. And I really thought that Le'Veon Bell would really help Josh Allen's game tremendously. They could do a lot with Le'Veon Bell and Josh Allen, between the read option. But, Le'Veon Bell decides to go and sign with the Chiefs. So the Chiefs get even better. Is that really what anybody wanted in the league? Because I can tell you, with the Dolphins being in the AFC, I do not like seeing this, not one bit. I can tell you that. So Patrick Mahomes gets yet another weapon, and a speed weapon nonetheless. So, the Chiefs are just getting so much better with the signing of Le'Veon Bell, and we'll see how long he stays there and if they're able to pay him. That's why Le'Veon left the Steelers in the first place, because he wanted money. And we'll see. The Chiefs are not going to be able to pay this man a ton of money, but he's getting money from the Jets, and then he can double up with the Chiefs contract because of the way Le'Veon Bell's contract is laid out. So, maybe, the Chiefs just offer him a couple milli. He parlays that with the $28.5 million he's getting from the Jets by being cut. So, he's gonna make out money-wise. Now, is it just going to be enough for Le'Veon Bell? That is truly going to be kind of, if he decides to stay with Kansas City, yes, he's going to be a championship contender, and he's going to get paid. So he's got the best of both worlds, really. He could be a Chief for a long time, truly. So not a good sign if you're a Chiefs fan, not a good sign if you're a fan of any other team, and especially if your team is in the AFC. Alrighty, let's continue on with the stories today. This morning it was looking a little shaky, so let's get to the COVID news. All right, Falcons, remember they had the non-player test positive for COVID yesterday. All the tests from yesterday came back, and they are all clear. No COVID cases, so they're back in the facilities today. The Falcons are practicing right now, and the game for Sunday in Minnesota is still on. So no players getting tested or testing positive for the Falcons. Game is good to go. No worries there. So the Falcons only have to overcome the firing of their head coach, and that's it. They don't have to overcome the COVID. So, hey, well done for the Falcons. So all good there. And then this morning, oh boy, Colts had one player and three staff members all come back with positive COVID tests. I put the wrong tweet up first. All right, here it is. Colts announced that they have shut down their facility after several players or personnel in the organization test positive for COVID. This was at 9 o'clock, folks, so right early in the morning they were breaking with this COVID news. Usually it was the Wednesdays that we get the lots of news, but it was today, Thursday. No, today's Friday. What am I? Today is Friday. What am I talking about? So Friday we're getting COVID news here. So I wake up to this news and I'm like, oh, man, the Colts. I mean, they're facing the Bengals. It wasn't a big game in the league, but we really wanted to see how the Colts were going to bounce back from last week. And Phillip Rivers throwing 2 picks last week, I really want to see him continue that so we can kind of bash on Phillip Rivers a little bit. But this morning was putting that in jeopardy. I didn't think we were going to get the Colts game, and then literally what is this? Half hour before we went live, 11:30, Adam Schefter broke the news. He's like, hey, there was 4 people in the Colts organization that tested positive, 1 player and 3 staff members. So as soon as they found that out, the Colts went down and shut down their facilities. And then the backup tests, they all take those backup tests, and all those, the second test all came back as a false positive. So the 1 player, the 3 staff members are all fine. They don't have COVID, and so the game is still on. The Colts actually reopened their facility today as well. So they closed it at 9 and reopened it, at 11:30, so they're back to practicing. They got a game on Sunday, folks. They have no time to waste. They cannot let false positives ruin the practice schedule of their team. So Colts are back. They're practicing. All games are good to go. We literally don't have any current COVID cases that are currently holding back teams from being in their facility or holding back teams from possibly playing the game on Sunday. So we're actually all good this week. Going into Saturday, we'll see. And as I mentioned, the Sunday tests right before the game, they will be doing those as well. So we are going to have to kind of wait right up to kickoff to make sure all games are being played. But going into the weekend, and we're kind of looking pretty good. I think we can all kind of get behind that. So we'll keep you updated throughout the weekend, making sure that no other COVID cases get detected and no games are in jeopardy. But we're smooth sailing into the weekend, so everybody enjoy your Friday. Up to this moment, I don't know what's going to happen after we go dark. But I'll knock on wood. Everybody enjoy your weekend and think your team is going to play on Sunday, because we're all looking pretty decent so far heading into Saturday. Alrighty, let's get into our picks. Yesterday we guessed and reacted to the lines. We guessed pretty accurately yesterday, I would say. Once again, off on a few, definitely a couple surprises. Some underdogs that turned out favorites and some favorites that turned out underdogs. So we will officially make our picks now that I had a chance to kind of really digest the lines and sleep on it and him and haw and be like, oh, I think I like that, but then waking up and be like, ooh, no, hang on. Actually, that's not a good pick. So here it is. Without further ado, we do 6 picks in total. We do our 3 locks. These will all 100% guarantee to happen, folks. No doubt. So bet these and bet these big. And then we have our 99% guarantee section. We feel real comfortable and confident with these, but we can't foresee maybe one thing that can go wrong that would really squander the bet. So without further ado, here we go. We'll start with our locks. So our 3 locks picks are as follows. The first one is going to be Dolphins -5.5. Folks, let's be real. The Jets, they're trash offensively, correct? I think we can all agree. They're trash defensively, correct? I think we can all agree. Their coach is the worst coach in the league. He's the worst personnel on the entire team: general manager, coaching staff, players, bench people, people that work for MetLife Stadium, people that share the same field, so we can count the Giants in them as well. He's literally the worst person in all of New York. I would assume Adam Gase is the worst person currently in New York, New Jersey, wherever he is currently. So they're not going to be able to put up points. They put up 10 last week. The Dolphins defense absolutely wrecked the 49ers. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to have the same game that they had last week. I don't think they'll put up 40 points again, but I definitely think they can put up 28 to 31 points, pretty without trouble. We're at home. This Jets defense is absolutely trash. Ryan Fitzpatrick has proven he can go and throw the 3 touchdowns if he needs to. He can air it out for 350 yards, or he can dink and dunk his way for only about 200 yards with also 3 touchdowns as well. So he's proven he can do that. But he has also proven he can throw the interceptions. But the Jets defense, I don't think they're good enough to pick off Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Ryan Fitzpatrick can really be kind of poor when he's not on his Fitzmagic games. But I think our the Dolphins defense, I think, is really going to keep the Jets in check here. Joe Flacco, he's just absolute garbage. He's like, if they had Sam Darnold, maybe they can pull out like a miraculous game where they go and put up 20 points. But with Joe Flacco, you're not going to do that. They get rid of LeVeon Bell. Now, everybody may think that is a knock against the Jets, but that's really not. That will actually help the Jets, according to Adam Gase. In his mind, LeVeon Bell was a toxic part of the locker room and pretty much the main reason why they were losing games. So that really could kind of jumpstart this Jets offense. I really think it can. Adam Gase, he's got some momentum coming into this week, coaching against his former team, and with Le'Veon Bell being cut, he's going to kind of want to prove that he's not the reason that the Jets are trash. So maybe he coaches the game of his life here, but I think we just have to take the chance here. The Jets are truly not great, folks, and the Dolphins, we're showing our talent. We're not a bottom of the barrel team. I know we started off slow, but we're in the second part of our rebuilding phase. We implemented all of our personnel changes last season. We started the winning culture last season. Now we just have to string together a good 6, 7, 8 win season, possibly 9, and then next year is really when we start to kind of take over a little bit. So I love the Dolphins here, -9.5. Yes, it's a lot, but we're at home. Jets are trash offensively, and I think our defense really rocks them up. So we are going to swallow the 9.5. Usually don't like doing it, but the Jets, I really can't foresee them putting up more than 10 points, and I think the Dolphins can easily put up 21. So if it's 21-10, bingo bango, that's a winner chicken dolphin dinner. All right, so Dolphins -9.5 is our first pick. Our second pick is going to be Packers -1. I really think this game is only going to come down to quarterback legacy. These are 2 big names, 2 marquee matchups, possibly the last Brady-Rodgers meeting we'll get, unless they face in the NFC playoffs at some point, which they definitely possibly could. I could definitely see them both getting there. It would just have to come up to seeding. But Aaron Rodgers has been waiting for this moment. He feels disrespected. I know he feels disrespected because nobody really considers him as a true GOAT. In my mind, coming into the season, I would probably put Breeze at 1, Brady at 2, and Rodgers at 3. For GOAT of all time, truly, I would probably rank it at that. So I know Aaron Rodgers, he's all about ego. He's all about his legacy. He's all about winning championships. And they're playing free right now. Since last season, they really got their offense in line. Matt LaFleur coming in and doing an absolute wonderful job. He literally can go down as like coach of the decade for saving Aaron Rodgers' career, giving Aaron Rodgers a second chance. We saw what Aaron Rodgers did in his prime, all great, but he only has 1 championship to prove, really to show for it. So Matt LaFleur coming over and this offense going 13-3 last year, and now they're undefeated heading into week 6. Truly fantastic what Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur have really been able to come up offensively scheming. The Packers, they really have no big names. Yes, they have Devontae Adams, but he hasn't really been healthy since week 1 or 2. I don't think he has played week 2 on. So they get him back. I'm pretty sure he's going to be good to go. Aaron Jones, the running back for Green Bay, is absolutely fantastic as well. When, Aaron Rodgers is literally playing out of his mind. He does not even have an interception. I think he's 13 touchdowns, no interceptions all the way up to this week. So he's playing flawless football right now, and the record shows for it. Whereas, Tom Brady throwing the picks, throwing the pick sixes, still trying to maybe do too much. This offense, he has weapons everywhere. Why isn't he really kind of performing at the level that Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers are kind of performing at? Why is he not doing that with all this talent around him, the size, the speed? Literally, they have a weapon for everything. Oh, you need some speed? Well, we got Chris Godwin. And we've got you 3 running backs, Leonard Fournette, LaShawn McCoy. Literally, you've got speed everywhere. Oh, you want size? Well, we have Mike Evans, a nice 6'4" wide receiver that you're only using in the red zone for some reason. Oh, you need beef? Well, we've got some tight ends for you. We've got Cameron Brate, size and beef. Oh, we've got Gronk, your old reliable beef that you love so much. So it's just a little weird that the Broncos are losing games, and they only put up 19 points last week on Thursday Night Football. I mean, what was that? And you lost to the Bears. What is that? What is that? Literally, what is that? So, Packers coming off of a bye. Aaron Rodgers wants to prove his legacy. He's going up against, the current GOAT in everybody's mind, and he wants to prove himself. This is going to be an old-fashioned quarterback duel. Both these quarterbacks will most likely throw the ball 40 times each because they know the implications this game has. Yes, it's regular season. Yes, it's kind of early in the regular season, but, I mean, this is going to go deeper than this season, folks. This is legacy. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and so far this season, Aaron Rodgers is looking like primetime Aaron Rodgers, where Tom Brady is looking like 40-year-old Tom Brady. I hate to say it. So we like the Packers -1 here. We'll swallow the point. Basically just have the Packers to win, and I'll take it. Alrighty, and then our last pick to round out our locks section is going to be the Houston Texans +3.5. We are going to have to kind of forget of what Tennessee just did to the Bills on Tuesday, folks. I know it was entertaining. I know it was definitely fun to watch, just the defensive battle that Tennessee was putting on Buffalo. But when we dove into the stats, what did they tell us? There was no way that the Titans should have put up 42 points in that game. Ryan Tannehill didn't even throw 200 yards. He got like 195. He got close, but I mean, anything, really 200 to like 220 is not that impressive. Once we're getting into the 250s, now you're throwing the ball. I mean, we're slinging it here, folks. But anything really less than 220, definitely anything less than 200 is definitely not slinging the ball. So Ryan Tannehill only threw for 195 yards about, and Derrick Henry only rushed, I think, for 54. So they had no big game rushing. They had no big game passing. It was just methodical, great offense and defense. It was just great team play. It was great coaching. So the Texans really aren't going to put up 40 points, I don't think, again this game, where the Texans, they just came off their best game putting up 30 points. So I don't know if the Texans win this game, but I love the 3.5. That extra half a point bumps you up over the field goal, which is always something to look for. That's why we like the Dolphins -9.5, so they get the 10, the touchdown and field goal. Always got to play the half of points because they are crucial in most games. That's why Vegas puts them out there. The half of points really kind of hit you, and they definitely can kind of save you at some games. So, for over, the 3, the 7s, and the 9s, the 10s, you know what I mean? The 10.5s, 9.5, 3.5, 3s, 7.5, 7, 6.5. All those markers you really had to kind of use your best judgment on how you want to play the game. So we're going to take the points here. Deshaun Watson and that entire Houston offense looking fresh, looking free, playing loose, playing to their strengths. They have so much speed and so many great wide receivers, and they finally used them all last game, everybody getting involved. Their top 4 leading receivers last week were all wide receivers. You can barely see that. I mean, we check that. We say it, time and time again when we break down those games. Usually, 2 of the top 3 top receivers are running backs and tight ends. We've seen it time and time again. So the fact that Houston is using all their wide receivers, using their running backs only basically in the running game, I think that's how you sustainably win games in this league. Not all the trick and the razzle dazzle. It kind of can drift off and have its big up and downs throughout the season. So I like what Houston is doing offensively. Defensively, yes, I don't think it's the best, but they are getting better. I think this Houston Texans team is still flourishing under, not having a true head coach. Romeo Crennel is taking it over, and he's a very respected coach in this league. I think everybody's really buying into him, and I think they just get it done. So I don't think Titans are going to be as offensively dominant as they were last game, and I think Houston definitely has the opportunity to try and maybe blow out the Titans a little bit. The speed of this Texans team could definitely hurt this Titans defense. We saw what the Buffalo Bills did. They didn't have that much speed going into last game, and they didn't really utilize it well throughout the game. They only really had Stephon Diggs, and they kind of put him on lock a little bit. So But that was only, Stephon Diggs, where, the Texans have like kind of 4 mini Stephon Diggs. So I do like the Texans here. I love the points. I'm just not going to fall in love of the score. Plus the Titans are coming off of a short week. Yes, they're still at home, but it's still a shorter week. I think I take the points here. I really love the 3.5. Love it. All right, so this is our locks. Dolphins minus 9.5, Packers -1, Houston plus 3.5. You bet this big, folks. It is plus 571. You put $500 on this game, you're winning 3,300. Holy moly! Do you know what you can do with $3,300? Oh, that's a lot of cash. So this is a great bet. I would bet the house on it. Bet your house on this. Take your second car. Do you have 2 cars in your driveway, yes or no? If the answer is yes, you sell one, you pawn one right now, and take whatever you can get for it and head down to the casino and put it on the 3-teamer locks that we just mentioned. Alrighty, let's go to our 99% guarantee section. We're still feeling very comfortable about these picks, just not 100% like the locks. There is maybe one thing that could happen in these games, one thing I don't trust, but here they are. We will start here. The first game in our 99% guarantee section of our picks this week is, am I crazy? I'm going to go Panthers -1 here, folks. I can't trust the Bears. I don't like Nick Foles. We see his accuracy. We've been doing game film on this man. He's not throwing good balls. It's literally, down low, too far low, too much to the right, too much to the left. It's never right on target, and that's the best way to get receivers not to buy in offensively. If you're not throwing me beautiful balls, if you're making me sacrifice my body by stretching out over the middle, I'm not going to, continually, give my 100% because I'm going to get fucking beat up and, we're not going to win the game because we're not consistently putting up points. Nick Foles has barely put up 20 points. He put up 11 his first game. He put up 20. You know what I say. If you're not scoring at least 20 points, you should not be expecting to win games. They score 11 and lose. They score 20, but they win by 1. They won 20-19. And so they're not putting up the points with Nick Foles. I really don't know what the hell's going on with the Bears team. I think their defense definitely is carrying them. They're giving, they're not allowing a lot of points. 19. I think they lost that against the Colts, and they only allowed like 23. So once again, still kind of close to that 20 threshold that you want your defense to kind of hold them under, and you have to get above. So I think I like the Panthers here. They've been showing that they can score. And they've been doing it without Christian McCaffrey. That's everybody buying in. They don't have any big names offensively or defensively, but Teddy Bridgewater is playing solid quarterback here, and I think I have to give it up to Matt Rule a little bit. I really wanted to kind of reserve judgment, but here he is winning games, and he doesn't even have like your full weapons, your full arsenal to kind of work with. So I definitely respect that about the Panthers. The one thing that gives me a little bit concerns when we were watching the Panthers last week, they weren't great that entire game. They just kind of caught fire in that second quarter and held on to it for the rest of the game. So their defense definitely bent but don't break that game, so I definitely love that. I'm a big fan of bent but don't break defenses, and Carolina may be sitting on one, after what I saw against the Falcons last week, holding them to multiple field goals and then picking off Matt Ryan in the end zone. That's absolutely fantastic defensively for the Panthers. So Panthers at home, absolutely love it. Love Teddy Bridgewater, definitely getting the better quarterback between these two teams. And Nick Foles, I can't trust the guy. I can't trust him. I truly can't trust him. They're not putting up the points, and Carolina is, and Carolina's at home, and the Bears, they're 4-1, maybe a little bit of frauds, and Carolina is trending up, where I would say the Bears are kind of trending down, and I think we capitalize on it here. This is the biggest game I think the Panthers are in, and they have a lot to kind of gain from winning this game. So I think I like the Panthers here at home. Teddy Bridgewater is finding ways to win games, and that I can truly respect it. If you're winning without talented pieces all around you, that just breaks down to great quarterback play and great coaching. So I'm gonna rock with the Panthers here. We'll go -1. Basically just have to have them to win, and I can definitely get behind that. Carolina Panthers -1.5. Alrighty, our second game into our 99% guarantee section is going to be Cardinals -1.5. Now, I do kind of want to watch. Going into this week, I was, or going into last week, I was definitely torn on the Cardinals. I wasn't sure if I should be in love with them or if this is a good team or not. I really wasn't sure where to be. Last week really didn't prove anything. They beat the Jets, and they confirmed really a lot of the negative things I think about this team. Kyler Murray turned the ball over. He had one interception, and they forced the ball to DeAndre Hopkins all the time. Can we find other ways to get people the ball? Can we find other people to use to score, please, besides just giving it to DeAndre Hopkins literally 15 times a game? So they just confirmed that again against the Jets. But, I mean, this Dallas defense truly, I mean, they just gave the Giants put up 32 against them. I mean, folks. We know the Giants are not that good. We know the Giants are not that gifted offensively. We've been watching them. We've been seeing Daniel Jones struggle to cap off drives. I mean, he's thrown interceptions multiple times. They've been having to settle for field goals. But in that Dallas game, they were scoring points, and we were like, what the heck? So, I mean, if the Giants could put up 30. I mean, this Arizona Cardinals team, they're fast, they've got speed, and when they're hitting and when everything's kind of going right, they are dangerous. But the second things kind of go wrong, I do definitely think they fail, they crumble, they fumble, they flounder. They do all those things. And if everything's not going right. But this is going to be kind of an easy game. I mean, Dallas at home is nothing to be afraid of this season. Falcons have been putting up points, Giants putting up points. I mean, it's literally a free-for-all when you go to Dallas. The defense is bad, and the home field literally does nothing for this home team. So I don't think Dak Prescott being out is doing too much for me in this game. I don't think it's really helping me either way decide, because I do think Andy Dalton is a definite serviceable quarterback. He can go and win you any given Sunday. I firmly believe that. They definitely have talented weapons offensively. Zeke, Amari Cooper, Gallup. I mean, they've got weapons, and Andy Dalton will take advantage. He was working with A.J. Green, Tyler Eifert. The man has been known to have weapons. No big deal. So he knows how to get the weapons the ball. So I definitely think Andy Dalton can be competitive in this game, but it's going to come down to the Dallas defense having to get stops and the dual threat of Kyler Murray. The Cowboys haven't really faced that. They faced that in Russell Wilson, and they allowed 35 points. I don't think the Cardinals are as good as Seattle, but they have similar kind of play styles and similar quarterbacks. So Kyler Murray can definitely take advantage of that, and I think he does. This is a huge game for Arizona, in my opinion, on the road. You won last week on the road, but it was against the Jets. So this one's definitely going to prove, are you the 2-2 team, or are you that 0-2 team following the 2-0? So this is going to be the week that we can finally make a confirmed judgment if the Cardinals deserve to be one of the better teams, because if they don't go and they have to at least put up 25 points for this to be a successful game against the Cowboys, truly. If they don't put up at least 25 against this trash Cowboys defense, then we can kind of forever write off the Cardinals. But if they put up 30 plus points and, maybe they lose by one, maybe they win by one, I mean, either way, then we can kind of say definite that this is a good Arizona team, and we can start buying them a little bit more than we have been. But against this trash Dallas defense, we have to take advantage, and just, I mean, on paper, it shows that Cardinals win this game. They have an offense that should be able to take advantage of the Cowboys defense, where the Cowboys have a backup quarterback that I think can play at a starting level some games most of the time, but Cardinals defense is obviously better than the Cowboys defense. It's not hard to be. So we have the Cardinals here -1. We're going to believe in them. Hopefully it doesn't bite us in the ass like the last time. Alrighty. And to round out our last pick in our section, we are going to go Patriots -9.5. Once again, I've been wrestling with this pick, but I mean, 9.5, I don't like to swallow it, but we have to, folks. I mean, this is just given. I mean, Patriots, Bill Belichick with extra rest. Patriots at home. Patriots with Cam Newton. Patriots with Stephon Gilmore. Bill Belichick with Stephon Gilmore. Bill Belichick with Cam Newton. Bill Belichick having extra time to prepare. Everything adds up to a New England blowout, and we would just have to live with it. If the Patriots only win by 7, we would have to live with it. This is the play, folks. Do not take the +9.5 and be like, oh, but I'm getting, basically 2 scores. It doesn't matter. This is Bill Belichick, folks. we have to start giving Bill Belichick a little bit more respect. I think it's so far what we've seen this season, we definitely have to, say, all right, Bill Belichick had a very large influence into that Patriots dynasty with Tom Brady. From what we've seen, folks, we have to start respecting Bill Belichick a little bit more. You could say he's a cheater. I get it. It's fun to say. It gets you clout. It does all of that. But in the grand scheme of things, he's a winner. He's winning, folks, and I'm not winning. So we've got the Patriots minus 9.5. Cam's looking good to play. Stephon Gilmore's looking good to play. Drew Lock is looking good to play for the Broncos. But the main difference between Cam Newton being out and Drew Lock being out, Drew Lock was actually injured, not actually practicing with the starters. Cam Newton, he had COVID. Yes, he's away from the team, but as soon as he got back, I think he got back yesterday, Wednesday, today maybe, one of those 3 days he got back, and now he's practicing with the ones. He's looking good. He was still kind of able to practice mentally while he was recovering, where Drew Lock was more focusing on rehabbing that shoulder. So Cam Newton, I don't think has really missed too much because of this COVID. I'm kind of just speaking non-factually. I cannot confirm this, but I would assume that Cam Newton kind of got over Corona kind of quickly, and he was still kind of getting into game and practice shape, waiting before he could re-enter the facility, kind of from clearing COVID protocol. So yeah, he couldn't be around the team, but I still think it was getting work in. So I really don't think we have to account for the Patriots offense maybe taking a step back with Cam Newton missing a game and then, missing some time. So I don't think we have to factor that in at all. Patriots at home, Bill Belichick with extra rest. Should have played last week, but you give Bill Belichick an extra week with film. I mean, that's kind of deadly. And I definitely think Drew Lock is going to, this Broncos offense is going to take a step back a little bit. They didn't have Drew Lock for, 2-3 games. So now the receivers have to adjust. They didn't get a lot of practice with him. He just came back, just got cleared from his injury a few days ago. So Patriots minus 9.5. It's a lot to swallow, but I think we just have to live with it here. We're going to go Patriots minus 9.5. Bill Belichick, with extra time, folks. This is the main thing to take away. That's the main reason about this game, in my opinion. Bill Belichick with extra time. You just have to live with it. If it doesn't hit, just gotta live with it. They win by 8. You just have to live with it. Truly unfortunate. But we'll go Patriots minus 9.5, and that will round out our official picks this week. So just to recap, our locks are Dolphins minus 9.5, Packers minus 1, and Texans plus 3.5. Those are all locks. You can take that to the bank, put whatever money you want on it because it's going to hit. You're not going to lose, folks. It's free money. It's free money. You want free money? You bet the games. All right. And then our 99% guarantee section is going to be Carolina minus 1, Cardinals minus 1, and Patriots minus 9.5. So, really just have to have the Panthers win, have the Cardinals win, and then Patriots win, 10 points. How hard is that? Pretty easy, right? So feeling very good about these picks. Just kind of I expressed my concerns a little bit, but feeling good about all these picks and looking to get back on track this week. Looking to go 100% this week, to be honest, and we're gonna make a lot of money this week. I can feel it. Alrighty. Before we close out the show, I just kind of want to give our kind of final thoughts, maybe on the Week 6. Tell you what teams have the most to gain this week, which teams have the most to lose this week. So we'll go over every team, every matchup, and really kind of see who's got the most to gain and lose based on our power rankings. So this is our power rankings going into Week 6. We got the Saints at 10, Raiders at 9, Browns at 8, Rams at 7, Ravens at 6, Chiefs at 5, Titans at 4, Steelers at 3, Packers at 2, and as always, baby, Seattle at 1. So here we go. Let's see who's got the most to gain and lose this week. Bears. They have a lot to lose this week. If they lose, I'm writing off the Bears forever, kind of. Truthfully, I don't think I will put Bears into the equation of making the playoffs for a very long time. They would really have to start proving something. If they win this game, I can kind of start getting back on track maybe a little bit. Depends how they win. They go and win, by 20 points. All right, the offense is looking good. Maybe we can believe in Nick Foles a little bit. But if they lose, if they win by 3, I'm still buying into it a little bit. Definitely, if they win, that's really going to be, win or lose. That's going to be the deciding factor. If they win by like 3-7, really not changing my mind. But if they win by 20, then maybe I give them a little extra credit for winning. Panthers don't have a lot to lose because I'm not thinking very highly of them, but they do have a little bit to gain. I mean, if they go 4-2, folks, I mean, we really have to start talking about this team as a legit team, especially with them having no like big pieces. They've got no, Julio Jones. They have no Le'Veon Bell. You understand? Well, at least not now since Christian McCaffrey's out. But if they win, go 4-2, that'd be definitely respectable. If they lose and go 3-3, I'm not going to think any less of them, truthfully. So they don't have a lot to lose, and they really don't have too much to gain. I guess they don't have too much to gain. I mean, the Bears aren't a big opponent, but the 4-2 record will definitely make me think about them a different way. So they do have a little bit to gain in that record-wise. Just the talent-wise they face isn't great. All right, Bengals. They don't have... If they win, it's because they took advantage and kind of beat this Colts defense, which would be pretty impressive. But overall, we know what this team is. It's a rebuilding team. Beating the Colts isn't going to prove anything to me because most likely Phillip Rivers is throwing 3 interceptions. If they lose it, I mean, I'm not expecting them to win it. So if they lose it, I don't care. Colts, on the other hand, if they win it, it means nothing. You win and beat a one-win team Bengals with a rookie quarterback. If they lose this game, then yes, I think right now the Colts are not good, and Phillip Rivers is a trash quarterback. So I don't think Colts really have anything to lose or gain this week. If they lose, they're as what I think they are. If they win, they beat a win-win team. I don't really care that much. They beat the Vikings and they beat the Jets. I get it. They can beat the bad teams. It doesn't matter. But if they lose, on the other hand, just kind of confirming what I'd already know about the Colts. All right, Lions, Jags. I mean, both these teams are not good. Lions, if they lose this game, that speaks a ton of volumes because they're coming off of a bye, so they should be winning this game. Jags, if they win this game, good for them, I guess. I'm not changing my mind on Gardner Minshew. I'm not changing my mind on this Jags team or this Lions team, to be honest. These are both not good teams, so winning against not good teams, I'm not interested in, folks. I don't care if you beat the bad teams. I truly don't. Congrats. You went 8-8 by beating all the bad teams, didn't make the playoffs, and did nothing. You're forgettable. I don't care. So, yeah, none of these teams really have to gain anything. Definitely don't have the Lions had the most to lose by losing because they were coming off the bye. Falcons, Vikings. Falcons can definitely get back on track. I would kind of turn my thinking around if they can beat the Vikings. Yeah, I say the Vikings are good, and plus they're not going to have Dalvin Cook, so they're going to be even more not good. But, just to get that win and, firing your coach and maybe you're looking good. So definitely the Falcons have a lot that they can, prove with the win here. They're overcoming adversity, which I can get behind. If they lose, definitely, they just fired their head coach. So I'm not going to think too much of that. Vikings, if they lose, I mean, they don't have Dalvin Cook and he's really the heart and soul. I would trust Dalvin Cook over Kirk Cousins any day of the week. So if the Vikings lose, not going to punish them too hard because I don't think they're good anyway. And if they win, they beat an 0-6 Falcons team with no head coach. So not impressive either way. So really just kind of, they kind of just have to win the Vikings or they're not going to look as good. But either way, these stretch of games, no team is really helping themselves. Alrighty, Washington and Giants, once again, 2 not great teams. Both teams obviously want to win because the NFC East is still up for grabs, so that's definitely a great sign there. Giants can definitely prove a lot if they can put up a lot of points here and continue their offense that they showed last week. I don't know if they can do that because I think Washington's defense is better than the Cowboys' defense. Washington has a lot to prove. I mean, you benched Dwayne Haskins for Kyle Allen. You should be winning games. I mean, if you're making the switch at quarterback, you better make sure you're making the right decision and making it at the right time. So I don't think they should have benched Dwayne Haskins. I don't think Kyle Allen's the answer, but maybe Washington thinks so. So Washington, if you're losing, you got to put Dwayne Haskins back in. You have to give this man some fucking, consistency here, not in, out, in, out, in, out. I would have left him in. So I think Washington has a lot to actually lose by losing the game, and they do have something to gain. I mean, you switched quarterbacks, folks, so they're ruining kind of both of them at the same time. They're both obviously not career starters, in my opinion, but you're still ruining them for their future. So Washington definitely has the most to gain by winning. If you made the switch at quarterback, you better make sure you know what you're doing. Alrighty, Ravens, Eagles, Ravens. I mean, they're not going to gain anything from winning this game. It's against the Eagles, but they will have a lot to lose if they lose it because it's the Eagles. So, kind of, hang on, I might sneeze. All right, yeah, the Ravens just have to win because if they lose, they lost against an Eagle squad. They lose against an Eagle squad who is known for turnovers. Eagles obviously have a lot to prove. If they win and they beat the Ravens, I would definitely be like, okay, maybe we can kind of rethink Carson Wentz. And if he doesn't throw any interceptions, I can definitely get behind that as well. If they lose, we'll shrug it off. It's against the Ravens. I mean, they should have lost, right? Browns, Steelers, I think both of these teams have a lot to prove if they win. If the Browns go and beat the Steelers, I'm high on the Steelers. I think the Steelers' defense is great, so if Baker Mayfield can come out, win the game, not throw more, I'll give him one interception. I will give Baker Mayfield one interception if they win and if he throws 2 touchdowns. So if he wins, he throws 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, I will forgive it and be like, that's a solid win. Now, if he loses and he goes 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, I won't forgive it because you'll most likely would have lost because of that 1 interception. If they lose and he goes, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, I can't forgive it. If they lose and he throws a touchdown and it's a close game, like 3 or less, and he throws no interceptions, I can definitely buy that as well. So it all depends on how Baker Mayfield plays truly. Steelers, they really have to win this game. They're on paper, I think they're better than the Browns. They have the better quarterback. They have the better head coach. They have the proven head coach. And I do think they have the better defense, although I do like the Browns' defense as well. The one thing, I think I like the Browns' offensive weapons more than the Steelers' offensive weapons. But everything else, I do like the Steelers, and they are the better team in my opinion. So if they lose, it is going to be a bad look on the Steelers a little bit. If they win, I mean, this is the hardest opponent they've faced this season. So this is kind of a true test for the Steelers. If they lose, I may have to really seriously rethink my thinking on the Steelers. Maybe they're not as good as number 3, maybe around like 9-10 area until they start to beat these top tier teams. That's kind of the one thing that's holding the Steelers back. So they have a lot to kind of gain by winning this game, and they have a lot to lose if they lose the game as well. Alrighty, Texans, Titans. Titans don't. If they lose, it's not going to look that bad, in my opinion. They're coming off of a shorter week and kind of an intoxicating win, in my opinion. If I'm going into this week and I'm a Titans player and be like, damn, we just won by 42, we're fucking good. Damn, we're fucking good. And I would be, riding off that high of just, damn, 42 points. And we looked good on TV and everybody's flexing on us and everyone's talking about us and be like, okay, we're good. Maybe buying into yourself a little bit. So if they lose, I think that will be because of the reason that they lost. I think the Titans overall are the better team. But if they lose, I'm not going to punish them too drastically, especially with like a kind of a newfound Texans. We had to start kind of judging the Texans from last week on. So we have to kind of really forget those first 4 weeks since their head coach got fired. This is a new team. Truly it is. So we have to start taking the Texans as a 1-0 team, and I think they're good. So if they lose this game, I mean, we're going to chalk it up as them not having a head coach. And if they win, I mean, we're going to chalk it up as them playing free and loose. So truly, either way, the Texans make out, in my opinion. Whereas the Titans, if they win, it will still be a solid win because I'm going to kind of count the Texans, as a decent team. Even if the Texans lose, I'm still going to count them as a decent team. So, Titans do have a little bit to gain by winning, but they also don't have a lot to lose by losing either, in my opinion. All right, Packers, Buccaneers, both of these teams have a lot to prove if they win. I mean, these are top-tier teams. Well, Packers are a top-tier team. Buccaneers are a top-tier talent team. They haven't really proven themselves in these first 5 weeks. They're 3-2, right around, basically 50% on the season. Not so great performances, some great performances, but iffy, you know what I mean? Hit and miss. So, Packers, if they win, they're going to be 5-0 and they're going to beat Tom Brady. If the Bucs win, they're going to be 4-2, and they just handed Aaron Rodgers their first loss coming off of a bye. So really, both of these teams have a lot to gain by winning. Rams 49ers, depending on, if 49ers are playing other starters like they did in the first half of the Dolphins game last week. If the Rams go out and beat that team, that's going to be a solid win. But if they go and face the B squad, it's just going to be another win for the Rams. 49ers, if they lose with Jimmy Garoppolo again and they looked as bad as they did against the Dolphins, we are going to really have to jump ship on this 49ers team until they get fully healthy or they clean up any issues on that line or whatever issue is affecting this team. So we're going to have to kind of wait this one out to really see, who's going to make out. Broncos, Patriots. Patriots, they should win this game. Broncos have no business being mentioned in the same breath as this Patriots team. They're good. Cam Newton's back. The whole squad's back for the Patriots. So if the Patriots lose against Broncos, we'll have to start to kind of readjust that a little bit as well. Whereas the Broncos lose, they lost against the Patriots. They should have lost. They're 10-point underdogs, folks. Jets, Dolphins. Jets have absolutely nothing. If they beat the Dolphins, I still won't respect them at all. I wouldn't care. They can win this game 100-0, and I would still call for the firing of Adam Gase. The Dolphins, if they lose this game, it's because of the reasons why I mentioned earlier. It's because Adam Gase is facing his former team, feeling good because LeVeon Bell's not there anymore. So it's just like the magic. If the Jets win, it's Jets magic because of what happened last week. That's it. Because what happened this week into last week, that's why they won, and I won't count it as an official win in my opinion. So nothing to gain here, win or loss. I'll make the excuses both way. I don't care. Cardinals, Cowboys. I believe Cardinals have the most to prove this week. They have to kind of get these wins back on track after falling 0-2, starting 2-0, and then they beat the Jets last week, so that's not a solid win. But this would be a decent win in Cowboys. Yes, their defense is not good, but this is still on the road. The offense still needs to do its job, and this Cowboys offense is still good, so the Cardinals defense does need to show up. Cowboys, they can definitely show a lot here by winning. If they win with Andy Dalton, if they beat this Cardinals team who is on paper who is talented. So Cowboys do have something. If they can win this game, definitely we can start thinking about them in a higher in a better light. If they lose this game, we'll just say it's Andy Dalton. If he's not looking good, that sucks. We're talking about backup quarterback, so it's going to be how they win and how they lose. But I think Cardinals have the most to gain by winning this game. All right, Bills and Chiefs. Bills have the most to prove. Coming off of last week, Tuesday, not even last week, Tuesday, that poor performance by Josh Allen where he got the turnovers and didn't even put up 20 points and got blown out by 42 damn points. Gosh darn. Chiefs, they also lost too, so, they've got to try and get back on track, but, they just signed Le'Veon Bell. He's probably not going to play, obviously, but, there's so much talent on this Chiefs team, truly, that, that they should be winning this game. They should be knocking around Josh Allen defensively, and they should just be outscoring them because they've got so much speed just offensively. So if the Bills lose, I am going to hammer them pretty hard. We will hammer the Bills pretty hard because, it's just proving you can't beat the top teams. We saw it last season, and you're not fooling us this season with the Rams win. So Bills, they really kind of have to be good in this game. They have to be competitive, or I will not buy the Bills at all. I don't care. They'll never be in the top 10. If the Bills lose against the Chiefs this week and they lose bad, they will never be in the top 10 this season again. They won't. I won't do it. I don't care. I don't care if they win out the rest of the season. They'll still turn the ball over at some point and revert to not greatness. Alrighty, that's going to do it today. We talked about, a lot of week 5 or week 6 matchups. We did our picks, and that's it. So, we'll be back on Sunday. We are off tomorrow, unfortunately, but we will be back noon Eastern on Sunday. Once again, talking week 6 matchups right before kickoff, right up until kickoff. We'll be talking about it, just giving in our final thoughts and any other COVID news that we would have to break and any other last-second advice I would give. So we'll be back Sunday, noon Eastern, for our final thoughts on Week 6. All right, thanks for tuning in. Follow me on Twitter at TakesByFans. Be a part of the conversation and come watch live daily except tomorrow. But we will be back Sunday, noon Eastern, twitch.tv/TakesByFans. All righty, y'all. We will see you on Sunday. Have a great